What's going on, everybody? This is Moose, Boyle, and Nick here from OccupyFantasy.com. At Occupy Fantasy on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm your host, Moose, at CFB_Moose on Twitter is where you can find me. Co-founder and data guru here at OccupyFantasy.com. Here with another NBA stream. I had to bring the NBA crew on. So, the bottom left of your screen, we have our NBA manager, Boyle, at tboyle24_DFS. How's it going, man?
It's going real good now that James Harden's on the Sixers. I will say that. He's
Yeah.
uh he's proving a lot of people wrong right now, and I'm enjoying it. It's Philly versus everybody.
Yeah, until he decides he doesn't want to play there anymore and puts up 4 points a game. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes there. And then at the top of your screen, we have one of our NBA writers, Nick, at DFS Jayhawk. What's up?
What's going on, everyone? Just good little small slate today with Giannis highlighting the top players. So let's get it.
Nice. Let's get to it. So if you're new to this stream, I'm just the host. I'm going to kick it over to Boyle and Nick. If you have questions, go ahead and ask. We'll be here for about 25, 30 minutes or so. We're going to switch. We're going to have the daily plug up as well. So if you have questions about that, you can ask it as well. So let me go ahead and do a fancy transition, and I will switch over to you, Boyle.
Yeah, no problem at all. So I think I'm going to start off just highlighting the notable injuries for tonight, and then I'm going to kick it over to Nick to kind of go over the if-then. So first off, Pacers, we have Malcolm Brogdon out tonight. He played in the last couple games. He is out. Cleveland's got a couple people out between Garland, LeVert, Rondo. Obviously, Sexton's still out, so they're a little beat up. Going down to Miami. We have Kyle Lowry out. Down to Brooklyn. Obviously, Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons are both out, as well as Kyrie Irving. Toronto, this is our one if-then for the night. We have Fred VanVleet. And then going down to OKC, it looks like we have Josh Giddey out. So, Nick, do you want to kind of go over the one if-then we have? I know we highlighted Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, for sure. So VanVleet is once again questionable tonight. I think he's been battling, like a ankle or knee injury or something like that. So I think he plays again tonight. Nick Nurse kind of trolled us last night and was like, VanVleet's going to be unlikely to play. And he played. So, I mean, I assume he plays tonight, but if he were to sit, I think you got to consider Gary Trent here. He's got about I looked up, he got about like a 28% usage rate without VanVleet on the court. And me and Moosey and you and I were talking about, I think he averages like 29 fantasy points per game without VanVleet. So, yeah, I would like him a good chunk if VanVleet was out. But I think he plays.
So Gary Trent, we were actually talking about the over-under props for points. So Moose was saying over-under points prop. Right now, Gary Trent's at 20, right? So he actually averages 29.7 points per game without Fred VanVleet out there. So in 6 games, 29.7. So if you guys are looking for a good scoring prop tonight, I would wait for Fred VanVleet to get ruled out, and then I'd quickly log in, and then I would hammer Gary Trent over on 20 because I mean he's 29 is significantly more than 20. So
Definitely hammer that. That's I mean at the floor he'll get like 25. That's all he does: score, steals. Yeah, so I love that.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna hop over to the first question here. My boy Lucas is saying LaMelo Ball 13% ownership tonight. Feels like a smash night. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean he just knows who I am. Yeah, I mean if we go back, I think the first time they played, LaMelo I think had like 30. He had almost a triple double, and I think Giannis had like a 60 fantasy point burger. Yeah. So personally, I love attacking Milwaukee on the perimeter. So LaMelo, Rozier, Oubre, I think all those guys are great targets. And then obviously to run it back, the cover boy himself, Giannis, is just clearly the top play in the slate. So yeah, going back to what he said, LaMelo, I love him as a GPP play. He's in the top, one of the 2 top high risk plays. And yeah, I mean, on FanDuel at 8.3, he's a lock to me. But on DK, he's definitely riskier because he's 9-1. But yeah, I love his ceiling as matchup, for sure.
Perfect. So the next question we got here: Fred VanVleet's out. Do we like Dragic over Gabe Vincent? So if I can address this first real quick, and then Nick, you can hop in, right? So Goran Dragic played his game against the Bucks, right? So his first, I believe it was his first game. He played off the bench behind Kyrie. He was actually the fifth guy off the bench in this game. Only saw 14 minutes, scored 6 points in 14 minutes. I don't know if he's going to get the start tonight. It could be somebody else. It could be Patty Mills. So I don't want to direct in wrong here. But if I'm you, I'm staying away from Dragic unless he's confirmed starting. And even then, I think I still like Gabe Vincent more. Nick, do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Gabe Vincent's definitely one of your building blocks. He's very cheap on both sides. We've seen this role before. Chicago has actually gotten worse on defense because when you take out Lonzo and Caruso, that's two of their best defenders gone. So they actually can't guard the perimeter and the inside well. I think they've gone to like bottom 10th in defensive rating. So yeah, I mean, I think all the Miami guys like Hero, Butler, Vincent, I think they're all great plays tonight. Should be a high scoring affair. So
perfect. So then we have next question here. If you're playing Miami guys, do you need to run it back with Charlotte? In my opinion, I would say no. If it was one of the higher scoring games on the slate, I would say I could see that being a possibility. But I don't think it's supposed to be one of the higher scoring games on the slate, so I don't think you technically need a stack.
Run it back with Charlotte. Aren't they playing the Bulls?
Is that what it is?
It's the Bulls and Miami, I believe.
Okay.
I think Hornets play the Bugs because LaMelo plays the Bugs.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. I mean, I don't think you need to run it back anyways. I don't think there's any Bulls that... I mean, if I was to pick one, it'd be DeMar or Levine. But I just go just the Miami Heat if I were you.
Okay. Perfect. And then next question here. How would you guys use the plug or model for a 100-man league? The 100-man league it's kind of like a mix between low and high risk. I would aim it more low risk for these. I could start off. Normally, what I do is I take the value plays from the model here. Like tonight, I mean, normally if it's over about 19 on either one, it's someone you want to lock into your lineup. Tonight we have Gabe Vincent with a 19.9 on DraftKings. He's only 17.6 on FanDuel, but he's also the highest rated FanDuel value on the model. You try to plug in one or two players from this, especially if someone's as high as Gabe Vincent. I mean, FanDuel, you have Mo Bamba as number 2 at 16.6. He's good. He's a pretty good value as well. We highlighted him in the plug. Normally, I just kind of match up the values with the plug, and I mean, if it's on both, then it's going to be a low risk value play. Nick, do you have any comments on just a more low risk building?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, basically, if I'm riding up a play and I see them at the top of the model, it's always a great sign that I'm on the right track towards that play. So yeah, it's just having the correlation of having them both high on, obviously in the plug is a top play and on the model, just like what you said, is a great way to look at it. And just like you were saying, Vincent Almba, I do have to come in and say though, he's very, very fluky with his outcome. He could go out there and put up 40 fantasy points, but he could also go out there, play 15 minutes and put up 12 fantasy points. He's just very, very inconsistent. But definitely in playing GPPs.
Perfect. And then another question here from Lucas. Are Vincent and Hero playable together, or is there some kind of negative correlation? That's a pretty good question. Nick, do you have a comment on that?
I'm actually playing them both together because I don't think Hero will start. So you're going to get Hero's usage off the bench, which is going to be big. And then it should be, I think they'll probably start Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Butler, Adebayo, and then PJ Tucker. So you got Hero off the bench for at least 31, 32 minutes. And then, so I think they're both great plays. I love them both.
Perfect. So, all right. So I think we're good for questions right now. Just kind of round through those. So with that being said, do you have a favorite stud play for the night? I know we don't really try to do your favorite stud and favorite value. Do you have your favorite stud?
It's Giannis.
All right. Let me correct that. Without saying Giannis, I need someone besides Giannis here.
Yeah.
Besides Cover Boy.
I would say, and looking at pricing, stud, because LaMelo's not even really a stud. Let me see here. I mean, I'm kind of going like Giannis, LaMelo, and then almost like mid-tier builds, if that makes sense. Like, I kind of just like going the route of like building around those two and high risk, and then mixing in like Scotty Barnes. I love Vincent has value. I like, um, and then some of the other mid-tier players. I'm trying to think here. Let me look at my lineup real quick. I can let you know. Duarte, who we just actually added to the plug, and Allen, I think is a great play with no Garland or Levert. He should be getting more usage, and yeah, so kind of just putting in Giannis and LaMelo at least on FanDuel, and then kind of just playing around in the mid tier. Almost, it's kind of the route I'm going tonight with Vincent.
Oh, I could see that. I could see that. We got another question in the chat. What centers are you prioritizing on FanDuel?
Um, so on FanDuel, there's not like a true center that I'm in love with tonight. I think if you're going up top, I think Adebayo is a good play. He should get a bigger boost in usage without Lowry. Not like anything crazy, but just a little bit. He's a little bit pricey at 9.5 on FanDuel. I think he's like 8.4, 8.5 on DK. So better play on DK. He's a good spend up. And the mid tier, I guess, if you're looking at straight centers, Allen, he's power forward center. I have him right now in my center. I think he's a great play. Pirtle's been on a little heater real quick. He's 7.9. The last time they played Memphis, I think he had like a double and a couple stalks. So I think he's a great GBP play. Drummond, very fluky. I think he's a good play without Kyrie. And then value, we said Bamba is a great GBP play. Yeah, that's probably where I'd go center.
Perfect. So between Bam and Allen, Bamba. Okay, so the next question he has is Bamba or Allen. So like Bamba allows you to spend up elsewhere. So in order to get those top Giannis, Ball, maybe even another third stud in there, would you go down to Bamba? Or would you kind of just consider saying center, we're going Jared Allen, and then we're plugging from there?
No, I don't think Allen's a lock. I don't really have a third stud right now. If I would, I'd probably look like Halliburton without Brogdon or like a DeJounte. But if you want to get up another sub like that, yeah, I think Bumba's great. I'm just trying to maximize my upside tonight. So I think personally, I think a more balanced, like a mid tier build has a little bit more upside due to like all the injuries. But I guess my third side would be Butler. He hasn't been playing that well, so I'd probably go Giannis, LaMelo, Butler. That's probably my third sides.
Perfect. So we have the next question here in the chat. If you're playing Vincent, Hornets, Giannis, a lot of those guys are going to be high owned, right? So how are we going to differentiate ourselves? So this brings me up to my next question I was going to ask you. Mm-hmm. Can we go through DK ownership, FanDuel ownership from the model and say your top play from, let's say, sub 10% from each site?
Mm-hmm. DK, sub 10%. Let's look here. Only thing with LaMelo and DK, he's a little bit pricier. He's obviously got a ceiling there, but it's a big 1,000 difference between the two sides. So I think he's riskier there. Still a good play, but he's not my play. I'm just knowing that. Let's see here. 6% or less than 10%. Let's see. Scotty Barnes projected at 3%, but potentially no Fred VanVleet and already no Novi. That's got to be my top play there. And then on FanDuel, did you mean under or like around 10%?
We could say around 10%.
We'll
go around there.
I guess around 10% then. I think Halliburton's a good play at around 10%. He's a little bit pricey on FanDuel, but he's a good GPP play. And then Hero, I want to go into this because I don't understand. He just came back from his injury, but if you look at his usage rates before he got hurt without Lowry, I mean, he's had pretty big usage rates, and I don't think he's going to get ownership for it. Obviously, he's a very shooting reliant, but I mean, if he makes most of his shots, which he definitely can against the Bulls, I think he's going to destroy his price tag, and he's him and LaMelo are my favorite GPP plays, the top Pirates plays.
No, perfect. And then, I mean, I guess if I had to answer it, I'd go DK. I'd say Trey Mann. I think his price is just way too
Yeah, he's a lot.
Way too low on DK at least. And then if we're going to FanDuel, I would say Chris Duarte. He's 5'4", and he should be getting the start for Brogdon.
Yep, I completely agree. And you also got Stevenson out, so that's more minutes to go towards Duarte.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. So don't think we have any more questions as of right now in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So we did favorite stud play. We did favorite low owned plays. And just as I said that, we get a question in the chat. No, it's perfect. So let's see. Would you play Hero, Vincent, and Butler in one lineup on FanDuel?
Yeah, those would be definitely my 3 favorite plays to go to. So yeah, I think that's fun. I like that.
So there's no negative. I'm just turning on the light in here because it got super dark in my room.
I think Butler and Hero would have a little bit of negative correlation because you'd obviously want one to have a ceiling game, but they don't really play together besides like closing the second quarter and maybe the end of the game. So, I mean, I think Butler's like 8-6 on FanDuel, so I think that's a reasonable price so I can play all 3. For sure. EK, let me look at Butler's price. Let's see. He is 9. So yeah, I mean, they're both reasonable prices for him. He just hasn't been playing incredible, but I like him.
Okay. That's fair. And then we're going to next question here. Any thoughts on Ibaka as a cheap Bucks piece? So I'm looking at their last game log here. It looks like Ibaka was the first one off the bench. However, he only finished with 15 minutes, 8 points in those 15 minutes. So, Nick, do you have any thoughts on him?
Yeah. So I think he's worth a flyer because Charlotte is still by far arguably top 2 worst teams against big men. So Giannis, Portis, throwing a Ibaka. I think Giannis and Portis definitely great plays, but if you want to go riskier than that, I think Ibaka would be a good GPP play just as a flyer because he could run in there, get 20 minutes tonight, and smash his price tag. It's just you don't know how many minutes he's gonna be, but obviously it's a great matchup for him to crush his price tag. You couldn't really drop a better matchup for Portis. I mean, not Portis, for Ibaka tonight.
Well, any of them. Portis, Ibaka, yeah, as you just said.
Yeah.
And then next question, Boyle. It would be nice if you could see you a little bit. Yeah. It was the sun was blaring into the room when it started, and then the sun went down. So like I had to shut the blinds so you guys wouldn't be like just blinded by light. And now it's just like you have no light. So it's struggling over here, but we'll figure it out. So then next question I have for you, Nick, is who would be your favorite value play of the night?
Favorite value.
I think we already talked about Gabe Vincent.
We already said Vincent. He's number 1. You want like obviously values below 5K. Do you want like does he want like a certain price point? Does he want just
Oh no, this is just my question. Yeah. I mean, we'll say under $5,000.
Under $5,000. Does it matter what side or you just want favorite value?
No, it doesn't matter what side. You can just favorite.
I would probably say check here. I'm out of look in the model right now. I'm not digging that deep under 5K, but I think Mills is worth he's been so bad. He's down to 4-4 now. So it's not going to take much, and you have Kyrie out. If he even shoots 40-50%, he should get to value, and value's like not. It's not like there's not a ton today besides maybe the Miami value and the Cleveland value, which is priced up as well. Yeah, I think Patty Mills is a good play for value. I don't think he's going to be owned either because no one wants to play him, and I've kind of leaned to not play him anymore. But with all players, it comes to a certain price point where it's like he shouldn't be priced this low, and that's what Patty Mills right now. Without Kyrie.
And then let's see any other questions. Can we trust Duarte on FanDuel?
Yes. Small forward's always terrible. So you kind of just got to pick your poison, and I just like he's not even a poison play. I like him tonight. I think without Stevenson, without Brogdon, I think he should. If it's not Halliburton and Healchun, it's gonna be Duarte. And then if you get 25, 26, 27 to 30 at that price at small forward, it's usually good enough to cash or crush the slate. So yeah, I like him.
And then. So I'm going to go on to, we kind of already talked about how we were building for the slate. You said you're going to go kind of Ball, Giannis, and then fill in like on the lower end mid-range plays. So I'm going to go on to our next question here. Do you have like an edge for this slate? I know I ask you this every stream and just kind of like, I remember the first stream we came on, you're like, the best edge for this slate. So
not like a huge edge. I mean, the biggest edge is the people that don't understand basketball and fade Giannis tonight. I mean, you have the best. Put it this way: you have the best fantasy point per minute guy going against arguably the worst team against opposing bigs. So like you put those two together, it's a nuts matchup for Giannis. And I just love running it back with LaMelo. You get him at his lowest price point this year. He has the potential to go for 60 in this matchup. He highlighted how he has no Milwaukee's terrible against the wing players. So LaMelo's had a couple duds, but I mean I think this is a great spot to get right spot right here. What about you? What do you like?
No, I completely agree. I know we were talking about trying to get different earlier. There's a couple plays where I think you kind of go with the chalk. You play Giannis, you play Ball, you play everyone who's probably going to be around 50, 60% owned. And you throw in a couple guys that are low. I mean, for example, like Andre Drummond just had a great game against the Bucks. He's coming in. He should see more minutes. He's been seeing more minutes as the games go on for the Nets. Yeah. Going up against, I don't want to call him a smaller Toronto team, but Birch is undersized compared to him. I definitely like Drummond as kind of like a guy who's probably only going to be like 2 or 3% owned, and he's just coming off a great game.
Yeah,
so a lot of those plays where it's like people are kind of ignoring them for someone better, like a Jared Allen or a Mo Bamba, but like Andre Drummond's not in a bad spot either. So just finding those guys that are kind of like no one's looking at, but in a decent spot is how you're gonna take something down. But we got another question here. Okay. One bold prediction from both of you for tonight. You want to start off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. I'm gonna say, how bold do you want? You want like an extremely bold take? Do you want like a kind of bold take?
I'll say an extremely bold take. You can have a medium one.
All right, my extremely bold take is LaMelo goes for 55 plus tonight.
Okay. See, my bold take would be Trey Mann outscores SGA fantasy wise.
Oh, okay. That's
very bold. See, that's my very bold one.
Okay.
Love the way he plays though. He's a dog, dude. Okay. I remember he was $4,000 a week ago.
Let's go really bold. I'm gonna say Tyler Hero outscores Jimmy Butler tonight. That's my very bold take.
Wow. Okay, you got two very bold ones, and Hayes gonna be tweeting at both of us when we're wrong. But I think we just walked into his trap there.
One more thing. So Scotty Barnes had a terrible game last game. A lot of the people are gonna see that and be like, "Oh, why did I play Scotty Barnes?" But this is a perfect bounce back spot for him. I absolutely love him tonight. Brooklyn, they've gotten better against bigs, but he's in a great spot here. Perfect bounce back spot. He's actually averaged 30 plus fantasy points in like the last 10 games, and I think this is a great spot to try to get a little bit of leverage on the field playing him tonight. So he was very close to being a core for me on both sides too. Great play both sides.
So you kind of gave your, I don't want to say he's going to be low owned, but you kind of gave your more like
he's not going to be low
owned play.
Yeah, he's going to be low owned.
Okay, yeah.
I think he'll be lower owned than last night, but not low owned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you gave yours, I said mine, which is Drummond. So we were talking before about trying to come up with like a segment to end the show where it's like our top play of the entire slate. You give one, I give one.
Yeah, we can. Let's do tall play, and then let's do like a low play, like the play that you think is gonna be underowned and you think is going to 8, 6, 7, 8 times their price tag.
Okay,
I mean, you can start us out.
We're trying to make this a segment. We're trying to get like graphics for this,
and we want to do like a name. So it'll be like T Boyle's play of the day or some name for it.
We need some crafty names. So if anyone's got some nice names for this, just drop them in the chat. So if I'm starting off here, I'm saying lower owned. I'm sticking with Drummond. I really like him tonight against Toronto. I feel like Toronto's undersized, and I feel like Drummond's just he's been playing really well lately, especially last game against the Bucks. And then I want to go back to say, can you buy sight, or do you just want straight up?
Nah, just straight up.
Straight up. I'll say Duarte. I think Duarte. Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
If it was by sight, DK would definitely be man, but he's just so expensive on FanDuel where I don't know if I can justify paying up for that.
I completely agree with that, 100%.
So, all right, what do you got for your two?
Knicks 2 plays of the day. So obviously I'm not gonna say Giannis for the top play of the day. I'm gonna say. Who am I gonna say? I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say LaMelo. I know that's the obvious answer, but I love this matchup for him. And low play is my boy Tyler Hero. I think he's gonna come in around 10-15%. I think he's gonna 8 times his price tag. I think he's gonna drop a 45 burger. And he's gonna crush, and Occupy's gonna crush, and it's gonna be great night. So Knicks plays with the S of the day. There you go.
I love the confidence. So it looks to be about 5:58. Don't see any more questions in the chat, so we're gonna just get on up out of here. Seems like so. If you guys have any more questions, obviously we're gonna be available in the Discord up until lock, so just drop them in there. And then we are planning on trying to do a weekly stream every Tuesday. So we will be back tomorrow with another stream. The time will be TBD, but we will be back tomorrow and hopefully every other Tuesday to the end of the year.
Sir.
So any quick closing remarks or?
Nope. Just everyone crushes slate, and let's see some screenshots in the Discord in the night.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Please drop some screenshots in the Discord or on Twitter. Tag us at Occupy Fantasy on Twitter. Thank you everybody. Have a good night.
Peace.